Hello and welcome to 4Music Presents. Since the release of their breakthrough album Hybrid Theory in 2000, Linkin Park have sold a staggering 40 million albums worldwide band this century. Now the six-piece are back with their third studio album, Minutes to Midnight, and with the help of legendary producer Rick Rubin, they've revolutionised their traditional Linkin Park sound. Tonight the band will be performing tracks from their new album as well as their old classic Numb, proving that rock is far from dead. Please welcome Linkin Park. Chester Bennington, Dave Phoenix Farrell, welcome to the show, gentlemen. How are you?
Good, thank you for having us.
Marvellous, lovely to have you here. You've just performed your new single, What I've Done. Can you tell us, it's a huge sounding song. I've watched the videos where it's got real epic quality to it. What's the song about?
Well, the song kind of is about, reaching a point in your life where you're kind of looking at where you are and the events of your life, and some of them are negative and some of them are positive, and it's just kind of accepting them. The bad ones and the good ones, and for what they are, and kind of moving on.
Now, the record, from what I've read and what I've heard so far, it's a bit of a move from traditional Linkin Park sound. Is that fair to say?
With this album, we definitely wanted to present what the elements of our band that we feel are very important but do it in a different way that's not obvious or expected. And that was really a challenge, because it's very easy for us to go in and write songs like that could easily fit into the Linkin Park sound, or like a nu metal kind of sound. And that was something we wanted to kind of break out of that barrier. And so, we really focused our energy on doing that throughout this process.
With the writing process, I know predominantly you've written most of the lyrics over the last couple of albums, right? Or,
no, it's a really mixture between Mike and myself. He was coming up with some great material, so there's quite a bit of work done by Mike.
Yeah, and he co-produced the record with the legendary Rick Rubin, right? And,
right.
Rick, for people at home who don't know, Rick's done, U2, Run DMC, some fella called Johnny Cash, Beastie Boys, it's a veritable who's who. What was it like actually working with him in the studio, all that kind of, that musical heritage there, just, in one room with you guys?
I think that the greatest thing about Rick is he creates a really easy atmosphere of creativity, and he doesn't have like a working set of tricks that he does when he's producing an album. It's kind of just, he's willing to try anything, and he's willing to just listen through anything and see where it goes from there. Some of the other producers that we've worked with in the past, great producers, but they have kind of a setup or a way they go about doing things that creates their sound on an album.
I read something, Mike, saying you could open every door with him, basically.
Yeah.
If it didn't work, you just come back out, kind of.
Really, from the very beginning, he was like, we're going to take our time and we're going to do this, and it's not done till it's done. And that really kind of helped us feel comfortable to go in and, write 150 songs.
I was going to say, right, so it was like 14 months you guys were in there, is that right?
Yeah.
That's a phenomenally long time to do, I know you're perfectionists, but that's a phenomenally long time to make an album.
We took it to a whole new level.
We were trying to figure out how you whittled it down. We were thinking perhaps paper, scissors, stone, how do you get down from 150
Sometimes
tracks?
it kind of felt like that, yeah.
Yeah, every stage along the way, every week there'd almost be a vote whittling down and kind of categorizing different songs in different sections, and what's the best stuff that we like the most, what's the stuff that has promise but needs more work, and what's the stuff that maybe is okay but we're kind of ready to set aside, and we just keep categorizing it.
Yeah.
Now tell me, it was recorded at Laurel Canyon at the Maison, the world-famous, world-renowned. What was it like, working, for people at home first, actually, can you just give us a brief history of that venue?
If you ask each of the guys, you'll probably get a different bit of history on that house, because it's a little bit sketchy as to whether it was Houdini's house for a while or whether it was his mistress's house, or even prior to that, I think it was like Bugsy Siegel owned it, et cetera, et cetera. But it's an old, kind of an older area of LA, which basically means like 80 years. Yeah. As opposed to the rest of the world. But it's way old. It's like a landmark.
97 years old, I think.
It's like 80, 85 years old, so just ancient.
It's the biggest little house in the world.
Right, okay.
It's like this, you walk up to it, it's this huge Spanish-style, villa, and it's like this great property, and you go inside, and it literally feels like kind of almost, like you feel restricted in it a little bit, because all the hallways are like super narrow, and the rooms are just really weird, and there's no really open space except for the main room where the drums and the guitars and stuff are set.
It just has that kind of feeling like some bad stuff's
pretty
gone
weird.
down. Like, none of us were comfortable spending the night in the little upstairs bedroom there.
They had this room that was set up sometimes as a vocal room, and then there was like this little square door back in the back of the room, and it opened up to like this. It was kind of odd. Like it looked like a little, like you put the
gimp room.
You put the gimp in there.
Room, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me at the Maison, basically.
Yeah.
More from you guys in a minute. We're going to go into a break.
Great.
But first, it's time for another exclusive track.
there's no escape. I'm my own worst enemy. I've given up. I'm sick of feeling. Is there nothing you can say? Take this away. I'm suffocated. Tell me what the fuck is wrong with me. I don't know what to take. Thought I was focused, but I'm scared. I'm not prepared. I hyperventilate, looking for help somehow, somewhere, and no one cares. I'm my own worst enemy. I've given up. I'm sick of feeling. Is there nothing you can say? Take this away. I'm suffocated. Tell me what the fuck is wrong with me. Put me out of my misery. Put me out of my misery. Put me out of my fucking misery. I've given up. I'm sick of feeling. Is there nothing you can say? Take this away. I'm suffocated. Tell me what the fuck is wrong with me.
Welcome back, Linkin Park. Now, throughout your career, there's been some incredible high points. You've reached a lot of milestones already. For me, one of the most exciting kind of elements was the whole collaboration with Jay-Z to mix the two genres, interweave them and do it so well, over a whole album. That's quite a brave move. And I thought, are they going to pull it off? And when I sat there and listened to it and watched the DVD, I was just like, that's amazing.
It was pretty incredible. We got the call from Jay-Z's camp. MTV had contacted him and asked him if he would be interested in doing a song for a show called Mashup. And they asked him who he'd want to do it with, and he said that he wanted to work with us, so they called. And of course we accepted because we're huge fans of Jay-Z and what he does. And Mike began working on, like...
I bet Mike was having kittens, wasn't he?
It was really crazy, but it was almost like meant to be. He started finding songs that not only like matched pretty close to the same beat per minute, but also musically worked really well together. And so he came up with, like, I think originally like 8 tracks mixed together. And so when we came back, we suggested basically like, look, one song would be cool, but we could do like all these tracks. They're all singles, respectively in one place or another, and they all work together. And like we could, maybe do like a cool show, like maybe at a place like the Roxy or something with like 400 kids from both sides. Yeah. We can film it, make it special, and it worked out so well. Then we were like, well, we should release this, and we convinced MTV and Jay-Z's label and our label to like play nice and work together and let our fans get it.
Which is not easy.
As you can understand, like 3 different camps of lawyers, it was not,
But you know what? We pulled it off, and then it elevated into like Grammy nomination, and then we won, and we played with Paul McCartney.
That looks amazing, man. What a buzz.
You could tell me right now that I have played yesterday with Paul McCartney on a stage, and I still wouldn't believe you.
Right, okay.
Let alone like if you told me a couple years ago
that was going to happen, you would have said get out of town, right? And what was it like being in the studio with Jay? Because I mean, I've read something, he doesn't write anything down. Is that true? Does he like? He doesn't.
He's got a gift. He's got a gift. I remember during the process, he had to kick up his cadence in one of our songs like pretty fast. And he just walked in and nailed it, like
Really?
in 2 takes. And then at the end of our session, one of his friends who works with him called everybody in, and he's like, "Okay, we're gonna do something special for you guys." And they shut all the computers down, and Jay went in the studio and just freestyled for like almost 5 minutes, and we're just like sitting there going,
Wow.
"How is he doing this?"
Yeah.
Because it was lyrically it was great, the hooks were great, and everything was. And then he was done, and they said, "And no one else will ever get to hear that." And we just were like, "Wow, this is."
That's amazing, huh?
It's the little things about what we do that
Absolutely.
are just so special, you know.
Can I get an encore? Do you want more? Cook and roll with the Brooklyn Boys. For one last time, I need y'all raw. Now, what the hell are you waiting for? After me, there should be no more. So for one last time, people make some noise.
Now, I mean, outside the band, you've also got you've got a side project, and Mike's got a bit of a side project.
Right.
Within the band, you know, I know Joe makes a lot of the videos. Him and Mike do all the artwork. You guys look after the touring. Rob and Brad, they do all the money. Is that right? I mean, that's
Yeah, they seem to enjoy reading long form contracts.
Right, okay.
Which doesn't make any sense to me.
But, I mean, guys, you're making a lot of work for yourselves. Are you control freaks?
Yeah.
Yes.
The short answer is definitely yes. And I think from a very, very early point, you kind of just see that if you can do it yourself, nobody else is going to work harder at it than you. So all of us love the band, and all of us take it seriously and want to be portrayed across the board in a way that we want to be portrayed in. You know, we're very particular. So it just lent itself naturally to kind of a division of labor, and having 6 guys who are all competent helps out as well. So.
It's been a pleasure. That's all we've got time for, I'm afraid. Thank you very much, guys. We're going to leave you now with a Linkin Park classic. It's Numb.